Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. A special video today. As you can probably see behind us, we are over at the Titleist Performance Centre at Woburn. We've got a couple of videos coming out from our time spent here today, but in today's video, me and Button have had the lucky opportunity to be fitted by one of the head fitters over here and go through a full wedge fitting. Wedge fitting is probably one of the most...
I've never had a wedge fitting.
Me neither.
And I think a lot of people don't, and that's what we kind of want to highlight and show the importance of that.
The statistic was they put it out to Category 1 golfers, sent it out to over 20,000 Category 1 golfers, had over 1,000 responses, and I think 40 to 50% of Category 1. So is that up to 5 or 6 Category 1?
Up to 5.
Up to 5 have never been fitted for wedges. So everyone gets fitted for drivers. Arguably wedges are just as important. So that is what we're going to do in today's video. Over here, me and Button are going to get fit for wedges. Might even put our order in, get some SM9s come into the bag. But let's get into it. Let's see how different grinds, different lofts, what it really does. So why this is a really good video as well is because we are both gaming the previous model Titleist wedges.
And we are both looking at getting the new model.
Trying to take our game to the next level. What a better place. We're never going to get an opportunity like this again, so we wanted to share it with you. But I'm using 60 degree SMA in a 8 degrees of bounce in an M grind. I hate this club, so hopefully, I hate the grind of this club, sorry, should I say. So hopefully at the end of this fitting, I don't know, but we might move away from this. 54 degree in 10 degrees of bounce in an S grind, 50 degree in 8 degrees of bounce and an F grind, and then 46 degrees in 10 degrees of bounce and an F grind as well. So I have a specialty pitching wedge, so I don't have a set pitching wedge. Mine is...
You are a bit special, aren't you?
I am,
You're a special boy.
Not as special as this gaff though. As you can probably see, I'm like a kid in a candy shop here. I'm a bit of a Titleist fanboy.
Give us a little 12 your hat as well.
Oh no, look.
Look at the, give me a 12, because at the back it says the Performance Centre.
Yeah. Unreal, and Nick is the man for fitting. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set the cameras up, we're going to go through all the fitting, chop it up. It's going to be a longer video, so this is going to be an educational video, so pay attention, listen to what Nick's got to have to say, and definitely at the end of this I think he's going to show go and get fit for your wedges. So everyone, Nick, meet everyone.
Nice to meet you everyone.
So how does this sort of work, a fitting? If someone comes in, tour level or consumer comes into this place and they're looking for a wedge fitting, where do we sort of start?
Yeah, so basically what we do, as we've done previously, we just spec up your current clubs. So 9-iron, pitching wedge, typically get the spec down off of that. Loft, lie, length, swing weight. From there we'll come out, we'll get some baseline numbers off of that, and then what we'll do gapping from there. So 4 to 6 degrees roughly, maybe 10 to 15 yards is kind of what we're looking for. But then we're also looking for the grind and the bounce, for the interaction with the turf, to get the strike in the right location to produce the correct ball flight that's easier to control your landing number with maximum amount of control, maximum amount of spin. And then from there we'll work closer to the green, and we'll hit some shots around the green, find out where you need help, maybe where you struggle, and then again find the right grind and bounce to help you with that. So we'll get you to hit your pitching wedge. We'll get some baseline numbers. I'll talk you through kind of spin numbers and things like that. You yourself, you're already in a 46 Vokey SM8, so it'll be interesting to see the comparison versus SM9. And then from there we'll work through. You've got currently a 50, so then we'll work through. We'll test a couple of different options around there and see what we can come up with.
Awesome. Let's get into it.
So you mentioned you like to see the ball move slightly left to right through the air.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't say I necessarily like to see it. I definitely prefer it.
That's
but as every golfer, as straight as I can, trying to hit it is ideal.
Yeah, sounds good. But then the miss would be perhaps a little bit too far right?
Yeah, miss would be I leave it out to the right.
Okay, alright. Hit me a couple more. Nice strike. Just going to do a lie angle test.
Okay. So sharpen this test the lie angle.
Yeah, it's going to tell me a number of things. So I'll have you hit this shot, and then I'll talk you through, which kind of relates to iron fitting as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of cross all things. So hit me that one, and I'll talk you through it. Very nice. Based on that, that's the first one that you got that probably finished more on target.
Yeah.
So even there, you sharpen them. So this kind of tells me 3 things. So number 1, as best as I could, had that line sitting like this on the ground.
Yeah.
So if you see what I've had to do to the golf club to get it into that position.
Right.
So when you relate that to shot shape, so if I've got this T-peg as I move that's pointing straight at you.
Yeah.
If I put that in the orientation it instruct the golf ball, you see now that T-peg's going past your left shoulder.
Yeah.
So when you relate that to ball flight, starting right, just going to drift right.
Right.
You see the majority of the shots that we've seen this morning have finished right at target.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would suggest that we would need to go a little bit more upright for you to get that to finish more on target. The other thing is, with the wedges, we want to hit it lower in the face.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about an iron fitting, we want to hit it between sort of grooves 4 and 5.
Right.
But in a wedge fitting, you want to hit it between grooves 2 and 5.
Okay.
So lower down.
Yeah.
What's going to help you do that is getting the right grind and the right bounce.
Yeah.
The other thing is that was slightly heelward, so it tells me the third thing is between heel and toe strike.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, hit me a couple more.
Okay.
So again, you can just see it just
sort of dies off at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah. If we just have a look through some of these numbers here,
yeah,
and then I'm going to give you this one to hit. But for example, I mean, just to run through, so club head speed 87 miles an hour, ball speed 106. What we're looking for here is your consistency.
Yeah.
So in this type of wedge, you don't want ball speed to be up and down, because that's obviously going to vary your distance, your carry number. Obviously you're a good player, so your launch angle is good depending on how you deliver it, so you hit down on it nicely, 5 degrees. Path and face, so there's actually a little draw pattern.
Yeah.
But it is what it is today. And the other thing is, so these spin numbers here, okay, it's a bit damp today, so there might be a bit of moisture between club face and ball.
Yeah.
But we're looking for these consistency of numbers here, and then ultimately your carry number. So you can see how consistent that is at 130, 138, plus or minus 2 yards.
Yeah, so 5 shots, 140, 137, 139, 135, 138.
Yeah. So let's now give you SM9.
Yeah.
Let's make a quick little adjustment to this.
Which is interesting, because in my irons, I actually got fit for 2 degrees flat.
Yeah.
So they might have to have a look at them as well.
You know, depending on when you got fit for them, if it was a couple of years ago, your swing might change.
Yeah.
Depending on how they measured you, you know, there's lots of things that potentially could have.
Is it quite normal to have quite a difference between your irons and your wedges? So
yeah,
irons potentially being flat and then wedges being upright, or is that?
Yeah. Basically, the most important thing you want to do is always related to ball flight.
Right.
So, kind of as we talked about in the initial conversation earlier this morning, was that, you know, a tour player comes in, they don't have, say, 2 degrees flat uniform across their set of golf clubs.
No.
They're going to hit 4 or 5 with every single club, watch what that ball flight's doing, and then adjust it accordingly. So not only for their start line and finish, but also for their carry number. So if they have to add a degree or take a degree off, that's what they're going to do.
It's really interesting with the line on there and showing the sort of, because it all makes sense when you're saying there with the lie angle. People who watch the channel all the time, I lose all of my wedges outright.
Everything right. Yeah.
Everything goes outright. It's very, very rarely, unless I pull it, which is like a swing, I know that I've pulled it. All of my wedges miss right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not for much longer.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit thin.
Right, let's make a quick little change. So we shouldn't see a huge difference to our carry number, but what we should see is we should get a little bit more spin overall. So that's going to make it.
So we're doing the lie on this again?
Yeah.
That's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Seems like much better turf interaction as well there.
Yeah, and sort of start direction was a lot straighter.
Yeah.
A lot straighter.
Look at the strike of the club face. I know it's a faint-ish line, but I'd argue that is
pretty centre.
Flush.
Yeah.
It's in groove 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So it is in that kind of, you know, that iron location. As we go into the more lofted wedges, you want to see that drop down. As we talk about grind and bounce, it's more middle heel toe. So in all those 3 aspects, and you saw the shot start line and finish, very much at target and held its line, didn't have that kind of that movement. When you look through the numbers here, so that shot there is now the highest spinning shot you've hit so far
9,800.
And there's your carry number, 138.
Yeah.
Same great land angle. So you've got the same carry number, but you've got a better performing golf club.
Yeah.
Not only in its control, but also its start line.
Yeah.
So.
And that's crazy. I don't know if you'll be able to see it as much on. Is this the pitching wedge here?
Yes.
It might have come off now, but if I show you on this club here, the marker pen is pretty much slap bang middle now. That is buttoned. Before it was quite towards the heel.
Yeah.
And you can see that my strike has come down a little bit in comparison to what it was with my SM8, which in return has hit the straightest wedge shot by far with more spin. What is this at now?
So this is it's a degree and a half upright.
Okay.
In terms of its lie angle, it's still the same length. The sole and the grind on this, because this is a full shot kind of a club, so this is just 10 degrees of bounce in a full sole.
Yeah.
In that side of things. But yeah, basically what we've done this is our sure fit hosel system that we use on our metals.
Yeah.
So we've implemented that on our wedges as well.
Okay. Is that the same? Have I got 10 degrees of bounce in F in my current pitching wedge, so it's the same?
Which is pretty much so. As you go through the wedge matrix from 46 down to 62.
Yeah.
You get more options.
Okay.
Okay, so in a 50 we've got 2 options, and then in a 54 or in a 52, then you get more options as you kind of use in the sand, and people they vary their style, their delivery, things like that, which we're going to explore a little bit later on.
Okay.
Awesome. So what we'd like to do now is just do some gapping off of those numbers there.
Yeah.
From your 46 to your 50.
Okay. So would you in a fitting, would you, now that we've got the lie angle to what we think is ideal, optimal for my delivery, would that just be repeated through the wedges? Would you do that with the pitching wedge, or would we look at a different one for a 50 and a 54?
Yeah, typically. So as you go through, so let's say your 50 might end up somewhere similar. Okay. Because if it's a full shot kind of a club, then you're probably going to need something similar. That one is more upright than your 46 anyways when I measured it. Okay. But when you get down to sort of 54s and 60s, because you're potentially doing different things as a club face and the interaction with the turf, we may not want to go as upright. Yeah. So again, we'll find that out as we go in.
Okay. So just hit a few with the 50 as well, yeah?
Yep.
Very similar to the pitching where you're still sort of just
drifting right, isn't it?
Dying right at the end.
What would you say about that ball flight as well?
Quite high.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd agree. So give me this one. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah. So, kind of how we saw with the 46. So again, we'll probably tweak this angle here. But the one main thing that's highlighted to me so far with this club is how high it's going. Yeah. Okay. So you can see the strike on the club face is really quite high. Yeah. So typically what happens when you don't perhaps have the knives, this has got 8 degrees of bounce on it. Yeah. So in 50 we do a couple of options. So I'm going to give you the higher bounce option to hit. Okay. In a second, because what I want to do is I want to lower this. So if you look at the spin numbers, like 4,000, 5,000, so like it hasn't got much spin at all on it. So when you hit the ball high in the face, it launches high, but it doesn't have much force or friction behind it. Yeah. So therefore your carry number is probably going to be a little bit inconsistent. Yeah. Relative to your.
Which I do actually find with that. Like I've had a full gap in with my wedges. Yeah. And I would say that the 50 degree is the one where it's like I think my numbers were 119 carry on it, but sometimes it'll button out at 128. Yeah. It will just fly.
And it's probably going to be depending on what the lie is. Yeah. See what I mean? So if you're sitting up in the rough, you're probably going to go like even more underneath it. You're probably going to come up short. Yeah. So what we'll do is now we'll give you SM9.
So bounce will affect your strike on the face as well.
Yeah. So if you think about the bounce, so the bounce basically is, you know, this angle here. If I don't have any, this leading edge can just go into the turf. Yeah. But if I have the right bounce, it's going to push it out the turf and just get the strike in the right place.
Right. Okay. So we've got more bounce in this.
Yeah. And so we've just got the higher bounce option. Just tweak the lie angle there for you as well.
Okay.
That sounded different from there.
Yeah. I mean, I left the face open a little bit on that one, the greatest swing, but it was a lot lower as well.
Higher on that, that's much lower, it looks much lower.
Yeah, it definitely was more.
So that's 9,000 revolutions of spin. So it's almost doubled. Yeah.
What was the highest? 5,000 on the last one?
Yeah. And so, I mean, that one there, so that was 120 through the air. So
relatively
again,
consistent.
good gapping from your 46. So I think a little adjustment to lie in both,
Yeah.
and certainly a little bit more bounce in your 50.
Yeah.
And then we'll progress to your 54.
Awesome.
Right, let's just see you hit how. So you say you hit sort of some semi-full shots with that one?
Yeah, so I would say I'll go to almost full with this. Like
Okay.
anything up to, I think my 3/4 swing takes me to about 197-ish yards.
Right.
And I play it more of like a pitch swing rather than a full swing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like maybe seeing the ball.
Is that because you want to see it lower?
Yeah, and just I tried to sort of like, it was something I've been working on with my coach recently. It's like trying to maybe feel like I'm playing a bit more of a draw with like a more pitchy swing.
Yeah.
I can hit a full swing with it, but I'd sort of square my shoulders up a little bit more and swing down my feet line and play a bit more of a different shot with this club.
Again, that's just one of those coffee ones, isn't
Yeah.
it? Let me sum it up on there. Don't look at the bottom of it, just
Don't look at the bottom of it.
don't look at it.
Like, don't press the red button.
Yeah. How did that feel through the turf though?
A lot better.
Yeah.
A lot less grabby.
Yeah, okay. Good. So again, I would say that this sounds like a better strike.
It does.
Versus your own. So we saw that poppy one
Yeah.
initially. So as we kind of get to these kind of shots, I'm not as worried about what TrackMan says for spin rates and numbers. I'm more kind of looking for the flight and the strike.
Yeah.
To give you that control.
Yeah.
Especially as you get closer to the green as well, you'll kind of get a real quick idea about what's going to work and what's not.
Yeah.
So here you go, we'll give the big reveal. So if you look at the bottom of that one and this one, so 12D and this one 14F, so this is our highest bounce full sole option.
Right.
So again, this is really good at sort of lowering that flight, giving that strike in the right part of the golf club. This one here, very similar, so high bounce, but on the D grind it's got more of a crescent grind, so it is a little bit more versatile.
Yeah.
So again, both I think are a better option than what you've currently got in your 10S.
Yeah.
But we'll hit a few shots around the green and see which one really kind of steps up.
Perfect.
And we'll grab some 60s and we'll do the same thing.
Awesome. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Yeah. Before we head over to the green and start working on the more sort of lofted clubs, 60, 54 and sort of manipulating the face and stuff, on full shots there, it is night and day. Spins night and day, launches night and day, dispersions night and day. Just by changing loft, lie angle, grind, little things that people overlook, so many people overlook. Going just buying it straight off the shelf, you are doing yourself a disservice. Obviously we're getting an amazing fit in here, but it is to really highlight what everyone at home is missing out on by not getting fit for your wedges. It is, I'd argue, is the most overlooked fitting in a golf bag, and it is night and day. I cannot believe the difference there. It is going to be a bit of a longer YouTube video. We're not really going to cut a lot of this out because we want people to see this, because we do think it's important, and I think it's just going to continue when we get over to that green over there, the sort of the gains that you're going to see. Crazy, 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 crazy. It is absolutely mental. Big up. Right, so moving on to the 54 and 60 part of the wedge fitting.
Yeah.
So we've come onto the green here and we're going to get dialed in with the more lofted wedges. But I was going to set up a camera behind as well, so we'll get a nice look at what the ball's doing near the pin. But we're going to start with hitting some of the 54, was it, Nick?
Yeah, so basically we just do a bit, we've done the gapping around the distances and the contact over the full shots.
Yeah.
Now we're just going to make sure those wedges that we kind of found there are going to work around the green.
Perfect. I'd be open to a 58 as well rather than a 60
yeah, sure.
if possible.
So with yours,
Yep.
sorry, not that one there, hit same shot.
Okay.
So what's your thinking behind the 58? You just feel like maybe...
So I originally ordered, just because of the degree difference, so with it being 54, 50, 46,
right.
to have 58 to then have that 4 degree difference, that's just that is the only reason why.
My take on that is that, you know, between 54 to 60, it's not like we're gapping it like it's a 7 iron, 8 iron, 9 iron. And around the greens, if you have got a little bit more loft to perhaps hit a slightly higher one, versus the 54, 2 degrees more is not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
We'll see what comes out.
Okay.
But
Stop it. Oh no!
you've set that bar very
I have, haven't I? Didn't want to see that.
Nice shot, nice shot.
Thank you. I can assure you that doesn't
You
happen
gave him a
often.
good read, Mike.
Yeah.
Again, how does that fly? How are you picturing that? How that's coming out?
That sort of popped up a little bit higher than what I thought
Yeah.
that was going to then, or I was intending to.
Sure. Okay. So, again, I know that's only 2 shots, but I'd argue the strike and the flight was more consistent
Yeah.
on those 2.
Yeah.
The other 2, you got one a little bit thin, one popped up.
Yeah.
It's only a couple of shots, but, and again, the strike sounds better with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely shot. So what we're looking for is like, it's hard to kind of gauge a consistent height, but maybe top of the flag kind of thing. You want a consistent trajectory.
Yeah.
Because then it's easier to hit your land number and then kind of predict how it's going to run out. If you're hitting them with different trajectories, it's hard, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Kind of,
That definitely feels more solid, like the connection. Strike feels much better.
yeah, that's not a lovely shot. Really, really nice. So you've got the D grind, 12 degrees of bounce. So again, you've got a versatile sole, so you can use it, manipulate it a little bit. It's the one that we tested out there that worked really well. It's a little bit more bounce, slightly different grind to what you've currently got, but again, watching the ball flight, that is going to give you a more consistent result than what you've currently got.
So what did I have in mind?
10S. 10S. So basically, the S is just a little bit of trail relief,
Right.
whereas this has got more of a sort of a crossing grind.
Okay.
So very versatile, bunkers, etc., things like that, but it has got a higher bounce angle obviously than the 10,
Yeah.
and therefore it's going to bring that strike. We always talked earlier about
Bring it
you
down
can
a
see
little
the
bit.
wear higher than the face,
Yeah.
lower in there.
Okay.
To get a lower flight,
Yeah.
to more control.
I really enjoyed that. Can I make one more?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's noticeably different, isn't it?
You can see the flight, you can hear the sound, like you've got the control of the golf ball there,
Yeah.
whereas you've got that variation in the other one.
Good stuff.
Very good. All right, let's see if we get the same success in the lob wedge.
We're 3 for 3 with success at the minute, Nick. So Nick's taking it easiest on us here.
Yeah.
Tight lie,
Easy
front
shot.
flag, bunker to deal with. And I do not like this wedge usually, so.
Might play it safe.
Yeah.
Very nice. Actually, is that normal? Is that how you see that shot?
Yeah, you usually like open it up and then
Yeah.
let my hands release through using the.
Okay. Good. All right, let's. You.
Good. Play the same shot, yeah?
Same shot.
Skitty. I definitely don't feel like he's trying to dig as much,
Okay.
this club.
Yep. I like your thinking there.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah, nice shot there as well, Mike.
It'd be alright to
How are we finding these two?
Yeah, I like this as well.
Yeah, I like this one.
It would be out of the initial shots there, it would be like either number 1 or number 3 at the minute.
Okay.
I just feel like the lead edge doesn't dig as much on the second one. It felt like I was getting a little bit stabby.
Yeah.
Might have been me, but nice. This is what I struggled with really with my 60 degrees, being able to play off of a tight lie and just play that sort of body shot.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, I've done it again. You can't do that 2 in a row, can you?
Right.
Go for the front flag, yeah, Boo.
One more each, and
No, I
then,
thought we were going to the camera.
and then swap.
So when you get to these, it's more sort of feel and what you're seeing, rather than like sort of TrackMan numbers and stuff like that. It is more.
Don't use TrackMan at all around these kind of numbers. It's more about strike, interaction with the turf, flight, how it reacts. And
is it
the one thing that, like, I can't tell you how something's going to feel, but I have to rely on your feedback. I can listen and watch ball flight and see how it reacts.
Yeah. And is that what you mainly do? Ball flight and strike? Is that how you determine?
100%. If you don't get strike, you're not going to get the consistency.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting, especially for you there, actually, is like from the first shots you were hitting here, they were high in the sky. Now your window's kind of come down, and yet you're still getting a lot of control. So I think when you watch really good wedge players that have the right club in their hands, on these kind of shots, they actually hit them fairly low compared to what you would expect to see. But they have heaps of spin. So, you know, kind of like Mike's shot there, where it lands and grips. I mean, you know, a good shot here, I think we'd all agree, if you hit this to 15 feet, you'd be pretty happy with that, wouldn't you, right? We're not talking about hitting it to a foot.
No.
But having that control to land it on the edge of the green and just, you know,
let it trickle out.
Yeah.
I feel like this is probably the best one for me to control.
Yeah.
This one feels like.
Good there. So that's where the bounce and the grind saved you there a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that feels really good.
Just grab a handful of golf balls. We'll just jump in this front bunker. Hit some towards that left side. Oh, nice. And how about you?
Okay, to be honest. Usually, I'm not afraid to open the face up and swing. Swing at it.
But again, you've got more bounce.
Yeah.
You're adding more effective bounce to say by opening up that club face.
Yeah.
So therefore you can give it a thump, and you know the bounce is going to help you get through the sound. So even open up a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's it. Good. Yeah, really nice. So you can see there, the more you open up, the more speed you put.
Yeah.
The more it goes up.
Is it grass? It's cold now. Because I'm thinking there's no.
Just dead easy, isn't it? Again, just trying to make it simple. Like, if I could give you one with not much bounce, different grind on it, and you'd have to be very precise, very accurate to kind of get the same result. But with this one, works well on the grass, works well in the bunker.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sold.
I think you got my beat.
Right, so there you go. The only thing left to do is pick a finish, but I think what we should do, Boo, is just leave that as a secret until we've actually got the clubs.
Yeah, like a big surprise.
Big surprise of what finish we go for. So if you wouldn't mind, Nick, just talking us through the differences of what we've come out of in the SM8 and what we're going to be moving into in the SM9.
Yeah, so basically for yourself, we've just upgraded you from your 46 to the SM9 46. In your 50, you had a 5008F, so we've given you the 5012F, so a little bit more bounce just to get that strike a little bit better. We made a couple of lie angle adjustments to your 46 and your 50 to get that start line a little bit better and ultimately proximity to the target.
Yeah.
We then moved from your 5410S into a 5412D. Again, a little bit more bounce, nice and versatile around the greens. Got the strike in the right place, slightly lower flight, a little bit more spin, more control. And then I think hopefully the biggest win for you today out of your 6008M that you perhaps didn't enjoy using, we end up in a 6012D, which is basically a higher bounce version of the M. So the same kind of grind, that crescent grind, but more bounce. You're going to get a lot more consistency with that contact, a lot more control over the golf ball, and therefore you're going to gain confidence in the shots like we were just testing now over bunkers.
Yeah,
I think it's
eye-opening.
Yeah,
really eye-opening. It's a different video to what you usually see on our channel. It's going to be a lot more informative. I think a lot of people at home definitely need to see this, so let us know in the comments if you like this type of content. We've enjoyed it so much today. Thank you so much today to Nick. You've been an absolute legend.
Very much
for having us down. All that's left to do now is hit up Clubhouse. They're here, so we can go have a chat with them, get our orders in, and then show you what finish we go for. As always, thank you for tuning into our videos. We appreciate you all. Do not leave without hitting the like button. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell icon, you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. And as we always say, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.